How's it going, folks? So, a bit of a late start with this one. I think Quarantined, who was going to cast it, something came up with him. Um, so I was able to kind of tag in, albeit a little late, but we are here before the first game of this quarterfinal round of the 2024 Hotbunz World Tour Tournament wraps up. So this is Group 3, Game 1 of the quarterfinals. It looks like players are about to get into the first round of trades here, so we haven't missed too much. Um, I am still trying to get the overlay up for some reason. The overlay is not quite working. Not sure why. I'll be continuing to work on that in the background, and hopefully I can get that resolved. Um, in any case, Zareki is kind enough to share his screen. Um, he's on blue in the second seat, and he's got himself a bonus. And as soon as I get an overlay, I'll be able to talk more about the other players that are in this lobby. In the meantime, I think I can give myself access to the thread. Yeah, so this lobby has Horace Boy, Zareki, Talical, Speedster, um, and I believe it has Zango. Yeah, Zango swapped into this group, and Bart. So pretty sure Bart is yellow, Zango is orange, Speedster's probably black, um, Talical's probably green, um, and that leaves Horace Boy for white. I could be wrong, but Feliz, our host, I know and trust has got all that straight. Um, and if I just get my overlay to work, I'd be able to display that information normally the way it always is. I'm going to go ahead and give it another shake here. And just like with all of these quarterfinal games, Game 1 is on the Africa Advanced map. We do see a spicy break from Horse Boy onto Speedster. I doubt Speedster's going to let that go unanswered. Speedster sets in for 4 and immediately breaks and retakes. No hesitation there. Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm having trouble getting the overlay up. It was working just fine this morning during the earlier cast. I'm still messing around with stuff in the background. I haven't really settled in on the game. I can tell that pretty much everyone has a bonus. Zereki's got one. Speedster's got one. Horse Boy had one until Speedster broke him. Zango's got one, and Bart has one. And yeah, we're still in the first round of trades. So Speed with the 4, Zereki with the 6, Zango with the 8, and Bart is now dropping the 10. I'm still trying to fiddle with getting the frickin' overlay up. So yeah, quarterfinal round, game 1 is an Africa Advanced game on 70%. Blizzards are on, the fog is off, portals are stable, auto placement, progressive cards, automated expert bots, and a 90-second turn timer with balanced blitz dice. All right. So Tal, and yeah, so I have the I hacked into the to what the host sees, and sure enough, even though I don't have the overlay up, I can confirm that all of my guesses on colors were correct. So Bard is on yellow, Zango's orange, Speedster's black. Oh, my mistake. Talical did not make the game. It looks like we have XC Dude uh, playing as green in his stead. Zerky's on blue and Horseboy's on white. Horseboy retakes and is thinking about breaking. So disagreement going on between Horseboy and Speedster there. Okay, looks like they've resolved things. No more breaking. Speedster goes to a 4th card. So we didn't see any card skips or any first set shenanigans. The stable portals on this map are interesting. They're kind of all around the rim of the map, aside from the central portal stack that XC Dude is occupying with his 24 stack. Pretty much all the other ones are like right on the edge of the board. Then we see some blizzards. So the middle part of this board is choked up by those two blizzards side by side each other there. And yeah, there's not really much else to mention regarding the blizzards. That one on the west coast probably makes it a smidge easier for Zerky to hold his +6. Speaking of which, before things start getting really hairy, well, I would normally go over the bonuses by bringing them up, but you guys can't see them because my overlay's not quite working. Anyway, that's okay. I will just tell you about them. So you got 5+3s. You got Asia Minor over in the northeast. You got Europe all the way up at the north. You got West Africa all the way in the west, which is unclaimed, actually. People are using West Africa as a card trade spot. Then Southern Africa and East Africa, which are the bonuses occupied by Speedster and Horseboy, respectively. And they were arguing down there a little bit when we first tuned in. Horn of Africa is worth +4. Then you have a couple +6s. Central Africa, occupied by Bart. Sahara, occupied by Zerky. And North Africa, currently unoccupied. Well, not unoccupied. Maybe just unclaimed is a better way to say it. No one's actually getting that bonus. Bart is on 69 troops, so we do see the dab come out. Horus Boy decides to break XC, dude. Interesting choice there. Chad is not particularly happy with that. Okay, Speedster takes a 5th card. Zareki would need to use his wild card if he wants to set on 4. So, risky decision here. Do you hold and hope for a bigger trade and risk dying? Or do you trade now and get a lower trade? Might cost you the game, but you will live longer. Very tricky decision. Zareki is going to opt for the safer option, which is to set in now. Takes the 20, uses his wild card. Does he have a bounty that he can take? Zango is the one on 46, but I don't think Zareki really has lines on Zango. Actually, Zareki's best line on Zango is from his portal stack through XC Dude's 4 stack. So yeah, Zareki might have had the Zango kill there. I think that's a big maybe, though. Entirely reasonable to not take it. Zango decides to trade in. No reason for him not to. Takes the 25. So missed the early game. Not sure why Zango is so behind on troops. Oh, wow. Zango slams an 11 stack of speedsters. Is Zango going for the speedster kill? It looks like he is. Has a 30 stack still. Needs to make sure he's getting good dice here. 27 v 23. Gets plenty solid dice there. And Zango bags the speedster kill. GG's to Speedster, and well played to Zango, taking the first bounty of game 1 of this quarterfinal round. Puts Zango on 3 points and earns him the 35 trade. Or sorry, the 30 trade. My mistake. So, Zango probably doesn't have any other kills. Yeah, I suspect that any other kills he goes for are way too close. He just doesn't have the troops. Can he run the 70 from here? Maybe he tries it. No, decides not to. That's probably the safer option. No 70 run from Zango. Bart trades in for the 35 set. Bart can probably kill XC Dude here. He can probably kill Chad. We'll see what he wants to do. Yep, he is. It does appear as though he's going for the Chad kill. Slams the 18 stack. That 20 should be enough for Morocco and Spain. And then it looks like Bart is also going to chain the XC Dude kill into his run. 35 on 24, only loses 14. Yep, so this appears to be a GG for XC Dude and potentially the entire board, because with that kill from Bart on Chad there, he gets the 40 trade and is on 50% of the board. So this should be enough for Bart to run it and solidify the W here in game 1 of this quarterfinal round. Gets good dice on Zango's 8 there. Good dice on those 6s. And yeah, just needed a couple territories to button it up. So, congratulations to Bart taking the W in game 1. And with that, we are going to move on to game 2. So the next stop on the World Tour for this quarterfinal round is New Zealand and Australia advanced. This is going to be another 70% game, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. Instead of playing with progressive cards, we're going to be playing with fixed cards. And it's going to be on a 90-second turn timer with alliances on. All the other settings from the last round remain unchanged. I am going to fidget with the overlay once again, just to see if I can get something going. And it looks like we got everyone in here except for Speedster. Gives me the opportunity to keep trying to figure out what's going on with this. Having the overlay up is nice so that we can all see the scores, right? I mean, Bart is on 18 points, and Zango is on 3. Everyone else is on 0. That I expect that is where the points are at. Yeah, Bart's on 18, Zango's on 3, and everyone else is munching on the consolation donut as we get into the next 2 games here. The other 4 players, well, everyone still has an opportunity to score this game and the next game. And with Speedster in, game 2 is away. So because this is a fixed 70 game with alliances on, instead of kind of trying to position themselves for bounties and kills, well, instead of that being the focus, there still is probably going to be a little bit of that going on. Instead of that being the focus is going to be on working with one another to try and create openings for a 70% run to happen. So this is a large map. I think you need like 50 or 51 territories in order to successfully run 70% on this map. So it is going to take some time for the players to build up their troop totals to get to the point to where they can actually, manage that run even if the board is open. And to that end, this game will certainly be a bonus game. And we can see Horse Boy starting things off, going for the +2 in the northeast corner of this board, and successfully gets it, is on the Kimberly +2 in the northwest. And Zareki is allied with everybody except for Horse Boy, who was too busy taking his bonus in his turn to ally with anyone probably, but I'm sure he'll be turning on his alliances now. Yep, there he is. Bart takes the bonus that he basically spawned in, the Victoria and Tasmania bonus, that's worth +4. Chad Carter going for the Eastern New South Wales bonus. Gets it. A little bit pricey roll. His fortifying troops over in that direction. But that should be a nice +4 for Chad Carter. Unlikely to be broken, but it could happen. Zareki is up in the 4th seat Looks like Zeraki is going to take, what is that? The Gulf and North Queensland bonus. That is worth +3. So we have two +4s that have been claimed, or taken, a +2 and a +3. Now Zango's up in the 5th seat. Now Zango could go for the Eastern New South Wales, which is worth +3, where his 5-stack is, but it might not be worth it. Zango might prefer to send that 5-stack west and get the +5 bonus. Nope, he is going to send it east. Yeah, the Southern Australia bonus may have been a better take for Zango here. But I will say that his where his 5 was when the turn started might not actually connect to where Chad's 3 is, and that's where he would have needed to have started with his take. So Zango's on a +3 turn 1. Speedster in the final seat loses 3 on a 2 from a 6v2 roll. Not what he wanted to see, but he does successfully take the South Island +4. So everyone was able to snag a turn 1 bonus. So in turn 2, the players are going to be going for second bonuses. So speaking of the bonuses on this map, there are 4 +2s. There's Kimberley, which belongs to Horace Boy at the moment. There's the Central Australia bonus. Then there's the Far North Queensland bonus, which Zeraki is lined up to take. And then to the west of Far North Queensland, there's the Arnhem Land and Groot Island +2 bonus, which is just those 2 territories with a it's got a blue and an orange 1 on it right now. Then some +3s. You got Top End and Tiwi Islands to the east of between Kimberley and Zeraki's bonus, which is the Gulf and North Queensland, which is also +3. Then the Western New South Wales, which is Zango's bonus. Those are all your +3s. Then the +4s are the North Island of New Zealand, the South Island of New Zealand, and then the Victoria and Tasmania bonus in Australia, and then the Eastern New South Wales bonus, occupied by Chad Carter. South Island is owned by Speedster, and Victoria, Tasmania is owned by Bart. Then the +5s are South Queensland and South Australia. And then last but not least, the quote-unquote Asia of this map is the Greater Western Australia +6 bonus, which is where you would expect it to be on the west side of the map. Just tuned in, who won game 1? Bart took the W in game 1. Please move the screen to the right a bit. Yes, I may as well do that since I don't have the overlay up. I have been monkeying with the overlay since I hopped in game 1, doing a subcast, I guess. I was substituted in for or tagged in on Quarantine's behalf, so didn't quite catch the beginning of game 1 myself. All right, so Zango working on the +3 there. Doesn't quite finish it. And Horace Boy was working on North Island, New Zealand, didn't quite finish it. Not clear what Chad was going for. Speedster bags a +2, which is a nice addition to his +4. And Zeraki also bagged an additional +2. So Speedster and Zeraki are on +6 and +5 respectively. Horace Boy appears to be positioning himself to finish the North Island, New Zealand bonus. That'll put him on +6. And he wins the 3v1. The 6v2 is 100% roll. Gets perfect dice on it, so yeah. Horace Boy is now joining Speedster in the +6 club. Bart still on +4. Oh, my mistake. Chad did get a +2. So Chad's +2 is north of the +2 or of the bonus that Zango's trying to get. But Chad is also in the +6 club. So Bart, if he wants to balance himself out, he is going to need a +3. He is going to need some type of second bonus, but right now um, he might end up being the have-not since he's only on +4 with no lines for a second bonus. Zango might be able to get himself caught up here once he lands his second bonus, his second +3. Then he'll join the other players on +6. Of course, the other players minus Zareki, who's on +5. Yeah, +6 seems to be the target bonus number here. The players that have made it to +6 are not trying to greed out or expand anywhere beyond that. Maybe if you're Zareki, you try to hold 12 territories so that you're kind of on +6, but I don't imagine that he cares too much. But yeah, decides to park a 12 stack on that portal on the western side of the map. Zango, undoubtedly going to use his turn to finish that second +3 bonus. Puts him on +6. And he should be a little bit careful with that 5 that is locked internal to his bonus. So it's a very good threat guard, but because this is fixed 70, he might prefer to have that open just so he can use it to take advantage of an open board from a future potential failed 70% run. Speedster, perfectly content with his +6. Does a little bit of punching to position his 5 just north of Zango's first +3 bonus. And now the players all have 3 cards in their hand, and we could start seeing trades. The reason I say that, because it's a fixed game. Yep, you can do what Horse Boy just did right here. If you have 1 infantry, 1 horsey, and 1 cannon, that'll bag you the 10 set, which is the best trade you can get on fixed cards. So if you have that on 3 cards, there's very little reason to hold it because the cards do not, the troop values for the sets do not progress with each subsequent set used, hence the term fixed as opposed to progressive. So Horse Boy, spreading the love a little bit, wants to maintain various positions, has a nice split bonus going on to where he can kind of position himself from different places to go into the run. Bart only really in the one place, and Bart takes a 4th card. So because the board has mostly stabilized now, with no one really being too much of a have-not, though I will say if Zango gets broken while under 30 troops and the board doesn't allow him to recover, he could end up being knocked out. But if Zareki decides to do that, there is a world in which Zango just slams him. So no, yeah, Zareki not interested in doing that. Zango gets his +10 from his 2 threes, +3 for his turn, plus he must be on 12 territories for the 10 there. Zareki is on 20% of the board. So he is the lead there, is looking at a 10 set with a nice +2. And then Chad is only on 11% of the board. So yeah, Zango does decide to open up his 5. He's soft to Bart. So Horse Boy was the only one who had the 10 trade on 3. At least that's what I'm assuming, because there's normally not a reason to hold on to a 10 trade if you have it. So that is why he's on 55 troops, and everyone else is right around 40. Well, I suppose Bart and Chad. Bart and Chad are the fish right now. But Chad should be able to catch up a little bit, or he at least won't fall behind as quickly as Bart will, since Bart's only on +4 and Chad is on 6. So now what the players are going to attempt to do is a combination of choking up the board and positioning their stacks such that they can run the 70 without running into as many chokes. Well, with running into as few chokes as possible is a better way to put that. Horse Boy thinking about fortifying his 9 back. Nope, wants to leave it there. Bart sits in for 10. Takes a quick and easy card, fortifies to his 20 stack. So yeah, since it's fixed, these players are going to gradually work up their respective stacks and wait until they believe they have the opportunity to go in for the 70 run. We see a dab come out from Speedster. Because Chad made a 6 and a 9 with his +2 all the way at the top. You see the green 6 next to the green 9. Very nice. Very creative way to get dabs going. Zarek sets in, makes all of his singles within his bonuses 2s, which that could end up being some very good stumbling block spoilers for someone who attempts to run the 70 and decides to make Zareki's bonuses included in their 70 run path. All right, Zango sets in for 10. Zango's biggest stack is at 14 on Speedster and Horse Boy's border. Fortifies his locked 3 out of that little corner there. That 3 only has 1 territory by which it can exit. And then Speedster also sets. So the only player who hasn't set yet is Chad, is green. All right, so some very slow, deliberate, and methodical gameplay here. A fixed game like this, a fixed 70% game, you can almost think of it as like a Better Call Saul type paced game where the first couple seasons start off a little bit slow, but it all matters for background and context. And then finally, as the game goes on, as the seasons go on, things slowly begin to ramp up until the exploding conclusion puts itself on our screens. So Chad's got a nice little 13 stat going. Unfortunately, Chad's trade was the only one that wasn't a 10 set. It looked like he had the dude trade. Sets in for 4, which is not what you want to see. So even though Bart is on less bonuses than Chad, um, that set there from Chad is still leaves him behind Bart. So it's going to take a few more turns for Chad to pass Bart. That's such a good analogy. I even liked more Better Call Saul than Breaking Bad. Yeah, I agree with you. I watched both. I liked both, but yeah, I think Better Call Saul was better than Breaking Bad. But uh, by better there, that's quite marginal, and it's also kind of debatable. And I think a lot of it has to do with what your perspective is on drug crime shows versus, legal lawyer shows, right? I'm the type of person that prefers a legal lawyer type show as opposed to a drug crime show just in general. So that could be part of why. But they're both very good shows. They're both worth the watch. But yeah, I like the slow burn analogy for fixed games, uh, particularly being a Risk player who's partial to fixed myself. Particularly the slowest burn of all slow games, which would be the fixed cap settings. So if you tune into my Twitch channel when I'm playing Risk, it's almost always fixed caps. Yes, I might have a problem. Yes, I do torture myself, but I still find the settings enjoyable. All right. Players are taking their fourth card. Doesn't matter a whole lot. Oh, that was a quick move from Bart. Yeah, the fourth card doesn't matter a whole lot since this is not progressive. So right now, what these players are doing is they're looking at their positions, they're looking at their opponent's stacks, and they're counting territories, right? Um, they're counting territories to see how close they are, how many more territories they need to get to the 51, um, based off of how many territories they hold now, and what their most optimal paths, what their most optimal 70% run lines are. Uh, Zareki has a 10 set. Zango has a 10 set. He's going to go ahead and drop his in there. And another reason I mentioned that, because territory count matters way more in a 70% fixed game than something like a kill guard does, right? The Chad there, green, had a excellent kill guard on Zango, right? Zango orange occupied that pocket that Chad took his card from that last turn. But Chad would much rather have that territory count um, under his tally as opposed to a kill guard on Zango, who's you know when the cards are fixed anyway, right? Interesting. So Zango fortifies away from the northwest corner of his bonus, puts a 22 stack up against Bart's border. That 22 does not really have very much real estate to run through, though it probably does connect to Chad's 14. Um, so interesting choice to put it there. I would think he would rather have it on the 6 just so he can into run up north and eventually get into all the 2s that Zareki has. Um, again, like what uh what you want to do is open up as many path options for you on the board to run the 70% to get a total of 51 territories. I could be because I don't have the overlay up. I'm normally able to hit a button, just show you guys what the number is. I could be wrong about the 51 for this map. Uh, it's honestly a guesstimate um, based off of my memory, so I could be wrong about it. But I feel like 51's at least close, even if I'm off. So Chad sets in, Horus Boy and Bart both go to 5. Zerky is sitting on a 10 trade. Actually, it's a 12 because you got a 10 plus 2. Zerky only has 2 territories where there's only a 1 on them. Every other territory has 2 or more troops on it. 51 all but 21. Hey, I was right. Let's go. Thank you, Maxie. No, you're always welcome to chat in if you're agreeing with me. No, I appreciate you confirming that. I wasn't 100% sure. I was like 90% sure. Brings us to Zango. So looking at troop count, Bart. So as kind of expected, without having set in yet, Bart is looking a smidge fishy. So he has fallen behind in terms of troop count. Meanwhile, Zerky and Zango are just shy of the 100 troop count mark. To be fair, I just copied it from Silent from the Green Thread earlier. That works just fine. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Silent was wrong because I mean, okay. Zango does fortify back back to his northeast corner, that first bonus. That gives his 30 stack those troops a little bit more runway than pointing them south, I think. And pointing them either into Bart's 33 or Chad's 23. That 33 now pointing in the north direction has a little bit more room to play as soon as Zango decides to let him out. Horus Boy sets in for the 10 set. Puts him over the 107 mark, or the 100 troop count mark. His 18 doesn't really have much room to run around. I suppose he could go east onto Zango's 1. But yeah, he's. I still think we're a little bit. I think we're still a bit ways off from a run attempt here. And Bart gets 7 for his turn. And let's see what his trade is. Ooh, cursed by the dude trade. Sets in for 4. Not what you want to see when you're the player on the smallest bonus. So Zeraki's making +5, Bart's making +4. Everyone else is making +6. So Bart simply cannot afford weak sauce trades like that one. Does not get him caught up at all. It'll be very interesting to see if and how Bart is able to get out of this. But Bart is a very good player, and I think it's fair to say that that he has come back from worse. All right. Meanwhile, Zerky has been slowly building up that portal stack off in the west. So the 2 bonuses that he's got over in the northeast are basically his troop generating factory, his trading facilities, but they all get shipped off to that giant 60 stack on the portal there over on the west side of the continent. Zerky puts them all there and continues to trade cards with Zango. Zango sees no reason to not trade cards with Zeraki. And Speedster on 5, gonna set in. See what he got. Do we have another dude trade curse? Or was he able to get a 10 set? Speedster leaving us all in suspense as to what his set is. He's got the 6 trade, Speedster. His hand like a stable, turning in the Horsey trade for 6 troops. And Speedster is going for an interesting play here. He's got a 30 stack on his bonus, 20 stacks off in the west, and a 12 stack in the east side of the Australian continent. So Speedster's given himself multiple places to run from with specific, precise stacks. Zeraki's going for the exact opposite strategy, which is I'm just going to put everything on a monster stack and plow my way through as soon as a line opens up for me. All right, folks, I will be right back. I'm going to go on mute for just a couple minutes as I run off to the little broadcaster's room. Alrighty, folks, I am back. Just in time to see Bart set in. Looks like Chad set in on 3 last turn. Not sure what trade he got, and it looks like I also missed Horace Boy's trade. And that trade from Horace put him on 138. And we do see Bart going for the run. Runs right up through the South and North Islands of New Zealand. Slams a Speedster stack. Is on 25% of the board now. That 5 does not connect over to that 1 locked behind Chad's 30. His 36. Oh, geez, we do have a little bit of a lag issue. Runs and collects all the ones in Orange's bonus and Green's bonus there. We're getting some more lag here. Splits through white, orange, and into black. Has a 23 stack. He is going to need to go into Zeraki's bonuses here to finish this up. Fails the 3v1. He might have needed that. Let's see how he does with his 13. I don't think he's going to quite have the troops. We do see the oops coming out. So yes, Bart is just a few territories shy. Ends his run on 63% of the board. That opens things up for the chaos to continue. Chad is going to try to take advantage of this open board. Slams an orange 15 stack of Zangos. Interesting play there. He is going to need to race against the clock here. He's going to want to split off from that. Splits 11 off. That should be plenty to mop those up. Probably just leave 3 or 4 there to get that Tasmania territory. Follows Bart's path into the North Island. Has used half of his clock. Not quite to 40% yet. There he goes, 40%. He's getting okay dice, losing some ones here and there. 58% of the board. Still has the 17 stack in the north that he can run from. 62, 63. Does he bother splitting there? Rolls the 4v3 and 3v1. Oh! And that yeah, he had a double tap on that 3v1 there to finish it out. GG's and well played to Chad Carter taking the W in game 2. Came back just in time to catch the season finale of whatever season 4, whatever the analogy would be between Breaking Bad and game 2 of a quarterfinal series. Anyway, so that being said, what are the points now? So Bart is still on 18 points. Zango is still on 3 points. And now Chad Carter, I believe, is on the board with 15 points. Yes. Yes, he is. Excuse me. So yeah, Bart's on 18, Exceeded on 15, Zango on 3, Speedsters, Ericy, and Horace Boy all thoroughly enjoying their consolation donuts, I'm sure. But they will have the opportunity to trade those donuts in for a few points in game 3. And we'll see if they're able to pick up some points here. We'll see if the opportunity shows up for them. So this is not going to be a 70% game. It is going to be a world domination game. So game 3 is on Asia 1800s, world domination, no more 70%. No fog, no blizzards, no portals. The placement is auto. The bots are AI experts. The turn timer is 90 seconds. There are no alliances. The dice are balanced blitz. And the cards are not fixed. We are back on progressive cards, folks. So Zeriky's going to be on blue, Horseboy on white, Chad Carter on green, Zango on orange, and presumably Speedster is going to reprise his color of black, and Bart is also going to reprise his color of yellow. So as we wait for him, on my way back from the little caster's room, I may have stopped into the kitchen and grabbed a cookie or two. So I'm gonna munch on these. These are some good like one of them is like M&Ms and like macadamia. No wait, M&Ms and like oatmeal, and the other one is like a mix of chocolate chip and white chocolate chip. So yeah, looking forward to that. I don't want you guys super jealous, but it's okay if you're a little bit jealous. Cookies are great. You know, highly recommend them. Okay. And because I cannot shut up, Speedster and Bart hopped in before I could take a bite, but I am going to go ahead and take a bite now as we wait the 10 seconds for everybody to ready up and for the game to start. Oh man, that's so good. Oh, I forgot milk. I have my water cup in here, but water just simply does not cut it when you're trying to enjoy a cookie. Anyway. Okay, in the first seat, We got XC dude on green. He's mostly on the northern end of the map. Has a Sol Green 2 territory in Southeast Asia. Then in the second seat, you got Speedster. He doesn't have anything in Southeast Asia. He's mostly on the west side of this map. Has a couple singles in Japan, though. Zango, mostly on the northeast corner of this map, but has a 2 and a 3 down in Southeast Asia and a 4 over in Tibet. Zareki, it's kind of half and half. He's got, well, he's pretty much, Zareki is barely on the west side of the map. That two troop position over in Afghanistan is all he's got on the west side of the map. Everything else is either in China, Korea, or Southeast Asia. And then Bart doesn't really have anything on the southern or northern fringes. But he does have positions between Philippines and the western Afghanistan territories. And then last but not least, Horus Boy. He's kind of in the middle-ish of the board. He's got positions in Indochina, India, China, and then a small 2-stack in Tibet. So these players are going to position themselves and try and spread out, make themselves as hard to kill as possible, while also trying to line up each other, line up their opponents here, to attempt to make a kill for them as economical, as profitable as possible. And because this is the Asia 1800s map, I do not expect that it will be a bonus game. However, the quarterfinal Group 2 Game 3 did make this a bonus game. Quarterfinal Group 1 did not make this a bonus game. So you could sometimes see bonus games here. It's just normally this map with 6 players is played sans bonus. And speaking of the bonuses, we may as well talk about them. You got 3 plus 2s. You got Afghanistan over in the west. Then you got the Korean Peninsula and Japan over in the east. Those are 2 individual plus 2s respectively. Then you got Mongolia and Tibet as your plus 3s on this map. Mongolia is all the way in the north. Tibet is that 4 territory bonus right in the middle of the map. Then you got a plus 4 Indochina, also kind of in the middle of the map. The classic risk board calls Indochina Siam. It's the territory Siam on the classic risk board. Indochina on this map is the plus 4 bonus there. Then you have the plus 5 of India, then a plus 6 for Southeast Asia, which is pretty much Indonesia. Well, Indonesia, the Philippines, and some of the other Malaysian islands down there. And then the Asia of the Asia 1800s map is the plus 7 of China. Alrighty. So these players are going to slowly work their way up to 5 cards for their first round of trades. And then we should start seeing kills taken during the second round of trades. In the meantime, hopefully everyone is enjoying their Friday. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying the tournament so far. I've been thoroughly enjoying casting these, checking them out, commentating on them. A lot of fun to watch people that are way better at Risk than I am play the game. And I also have fun trying to catch up with what they're trying to do and how they strategize. But even though I watch plenty of Risk, I still have things that go right over my head. So there is that. But the other thing that's nice, the other thing I'm enjoying is the fact that today is Friday. And even though I pretty much never go to that bar or restaurant, I do agree with the sentiment TGIF. So Speedster appears to have moved out of the Tibet bonus. Zango could try for it on his next turn if he wants it, but because no one's really holding or trying to go for bonuses, he's unlikely to hold it if he does go for it. Okay, in case Zango was tempted, Bart has moved in, and that should assuage any temptations Zango may have had. Speaking of temptations, the M&M and oatmeal cookie is gone. So now all I have left is the chocolate chip and white chocolate chip cookie. I'm not going to get up and pour myself milk, so water is going to have to do, unfortunately. That's a bummer. But at least I have cookies, and cookies are dope. All right, so in terms of troop count, it was a little bit interesting. Zango seems to be lagging behind a little bit. Chad is on 28, though in fairness, it is his turn, and we're at the top of the round. But Horse Boy's on 27. Zango seems to have fallen behind down to 20. If he's not careful, he might end up as the fish in this game by the time the sets roll around. All right, we do have a little bit of a lull in the gameplay here. Mostly the players are simply taking their turn and taking cards. Zareki does have a set on 3, but doesn't particularly matter during the first round of trades. Oh, whoops. Don't know how that happened. That's what I get for being mildly distracted by other things. So, as we get into the first round of trades, we can start looking at potential lines that a player that precedes another player in turn order may have on them. And when I do this analysis, it's only position based. It's not based on troops. It assumes that that the line is there, provided that they have the troops to actually make the kill. Which the troops to make the kill is a combination of like literally enough troops as well as good enough dice to bag the kill. So so the first question for that example would be, does the player in the first seat have lines on the player in the second seat? So does Chad have lines on Speedster? Does Green have lines on Black? So I think the answer is Green has Black in a couple places. The hardest place for Green to get Black is in northern Japan. So if you notice, When Chad sets in, if he wants to go after Speedster, he is going to have to blow through a Zango 5 before he reaches Speedster's 4. So Chad is not likely to go for Speedster if he sets in. He's more likely to go for one of the other 4 players. So moving on to Speedster's lines on Zango, the player in the second seat, their lines on the player in the third seat. Um, Speedster does appear to have good lines on Zango. He's actually Black is actually neighboring orange in every position, like directly neighboring orange in every position of oranges except for Southeast Asia, where in order for Speedster to get into Zango's last couple positions in Southeast Asia, he would either have to go through Sri Lanka or Indochina. He would have to hit a Horse Boy 4 or a Horse Boy 5 in order to get there. So again, it assumes again, none of these players have the troops to make this kill yet, but it assumes the analysis I'm doing assumes that with a set in and enough troops that you could make the kill. So Speedster's line, I think it's safe to say that Speedster's lines on Zango are better than Chad's lines on him, than Chad's lines on Speedster are. So next, player in the third, lining up the player in the fourth, Zango's lines on Zareki. So Zango is directly next to all of Zareki's positions, right? Zango has that 6 next to the 8 uh, and decides to move it away to take the bonus there. He also has a 6 next to the 7, a 6 in Japan next to the 4, and then a 7 next to a 3 and a 4. And notice Zango didn't stay there. He fortified back against Zareki's position because he knows he has good lines on Zareki. And I suspect Zareki also knows that Zango has good lines on him. So Zareki has no incentive to allow Zango to keep that +3. Immediately breaks him. All right, so Zango, best line that we've looked at so far on Zareki. Now Zareki's lines on Bart, player in the fourth, lining up the player in the fifth seat, has the 8 next to the 6. Doesn't really have anything that can directly get to the 7 in the middle. The 8 can go down and hit a 1 of a non-yellow or blue 1 and get to the 5 in India. Doesn't really have a good way to get to the southern Japan territory. That 5 in South Korea would have to go through either a speed 5 or a Zango 6 in order to get to Bart's 4. So Zareki's lines on Bart's um, are about as low chance as Chad's lines on Speedster are. So then Bart's lines on Horse Boy, fifth player on the sixth player. So yellow on white. That 7 is next to a white 7 and a white 5. The yellow 5 is just a territory away from the white 6 there. But Sri Lanka and the territories in Indochina would take some doing for Bart to get to, but they're not completely blocked off to him. Well, actually, the 4 in Sri Lanka is kind of blocked off to Bart. He would need to hit a 6 or a 5. Actually, no. You would path it through Horus Boy's 5 and then down into Zango's 1 and then over to the 4. So it's not quite blocked off if he paths it correctly. And then lastly, the player in the sixth seat, what are their lines on the player in the first seat? So what are the Horus Boy lines on Chad Carter? The white lines on green. So in the event that Chad misses a set on 4, which could happen, you can feel free to ask Chad yourself. He'll be the first to tell you that could happen. In that event, Horus Boy could set in and go for the green kill. So does he have him positionally speaking? So white 7 is neighboring Chad's 6. White 6 is neighboring the 1 and the 3 of Chad's, and then the Sri Lankan 4 is neighboring the South African 6, or the South Indian 6 there. The 5 is neighboring the other 5. The 4 and the 5 is neighboring the Philippine 5 and could get there. So the two hardest positions for Horus Boy to get to are Chad's 5 on the northern end of the Korean Peninsula and Chad's 6 on the southern end of the Southeast Asian bonus. So Horse Boy's lines are not that good. So I think the most likely kill we see, just in terms of the natural lines of who's next in turn order, is Zango and Zaraki. However, um, Zango may have a slight issue with that just because he's been behind in troops for a while now. So went through that analysis while all the players were turning in their first trades. We didn't see any card skipping or any other type of set shenanigans. Nobody really set out of order. So Chad turned in the 4, Speed the 6, Zango the 8, Zaraki the 10, Bart the 12, and Horseboy the 15. So now everyone is going to take their last turn before the sets are expected to come out, which again, the sets where people are starting to be able to take bounties typically happens in the second round of trades. And the second round of trades normally start from people setting in on 4. We see another dab come out because Chad moved his 6 next to Zango's 9. So we do have a green-orange Co-69 position up on the north end of this board. Zaraki has a set on 3. I will say Zango's lines on Zaraki are good, but if Zango happens to miss his trade on 4, then Zaraki has better lines on Zango than he does on Bart. So that is the drawback to having really good lines on the player after you, is you cannot, you pretty much cannot miss your set on 4, or if you do, you better hope that the person that goes after you that you lined up does miss his set on 4. But Zaraki not only has a set on 3, but draws a wild card. Zaraki, quite happy with that. He's going to be able to set on 4 without using his wild card. So he will have a set on 3 in the third round of trades, assuming he survives, and even if he makes no kills. All right. Horse Boy is up. He's going to take the last position here. We'll take one last peek at the troops. So Chad, Speedster, and Zango all hovering right around 40. Zaraki and Bart right on 45 pretty much. And Horse Boy, the only player on the north side of 50 troops, on 53 troops for the time being. So, does Chad set in on 4? He does not. He either missed his set or is opting to not trade. Feels safe enough to hold it. Speedster is going to go ahead and take that 20 trade. Can Speedster bag the Chad kill, or can he go for the Zango kill? Speedster would need to hit a white 5 or a white 7 in order to get all of Zango. Doesn't appear as though Speedster's going for a kill with the way he's moving and how he's attacking. Yeah, so he's just going to stock up on the on that island there. I can't remember what those islands are called. But Speedster's got a big 23 stack on him. Zango sets in for 25, puts him on 69 troops. So we do see the dab come out. Does Zango capitalize on his excellent lines that he has on Zaraki? He might go ahead and take them. Zaraki is saying oops, but I'm not sure, my friend. Despite how good your cards are, Zaraki, I do think that Zango has you. The 18 and the 8, and then splitting off to go get the 4 is the riskiest roll here. He might have wanted to take that one first. 6v4, doesn't matter. He does get it, and then 16v10 I think is near 100%, if not 100. GG to Zaraki, and well played to Zango. So if you're Zaraki, you can't be feeling good about that. Fourth seat is a solid position to be in, and Zaraki's hand, he was looking at a set on 3 with a wild card. But congratulations to Zango, taking the first bounty in Game 3. And I do believe that puts Zango on the board, if I'm not mistaken. No, Zango was already on the board. Zango made a bounty in game 1, but did not win game 1 or 2. So Zango is now on a total of 6 points for the round. Sets in. Does he have enough to go for the Chad Carter kill? He may have, but he's not going to go for it. He also might not have. It could have been a feat had he gone for it. Bart is going to set in for 35. Can Bart bag either the Horse Boy kills or the Carter kills? Those are the only bounties on the table right now. Can Bart take Horace or Chad? So since I did the analysis, the board has opened up and changed a lot because a kill was made. So the Bart lines on Horace may have changed. Yeah, Bart would need to hit the 7, hit Zango's 1, and then go west to Sri Lanka as one path there. Actually, that 25, you go east with it and then wrap down and around to the 7 and then end that line on the 5 of whites. But does he have enough to take the horse? He is going to go for the Horse Boy kill. 7v6 wins the 7v6. And then the path here, yep, he's going to wrap it east and then down through Zango, ending in Sri Lanka. GG's to Horse Boy. And congratulations to Bart taking the second bounty of Game 3. Bart did win Game 1, so that kill puts Bart on a total of 21 points for this quarterfinal round. And gives him 90 troops with the 40 trade. I believe that was the 40 trade that he just turned in. Can he bag the Chad Carter kill? It looks like he might be trying to line it up. Does he have it? He's going for it. 12v9 wins that. 10v5 needs to, or doesn't need to split here. Has two 11 stacks to wrap up the 6 and the 5 stacks remaining of Chad. GG's to Chad Carter, unfortunately missing his set on 4. And well played to Bart, taking the third bounty of this game and his second bounty. And Bart goes ahead and trades in the 45 trade. This should be Bart's game at this point. Can Bart bag either the Speedster or Zango kills? Can he chain one more here? Or is he going to go ahead and end his turn? He does end his turn. Bart ends his turn on 5 cards. He's really only kind of threatened by Zango because Speedster does not have a trade. Since Zango made a kill, Zango could potentially have... Actually, we know that Zango likely has a set on 3 because he killed Zareki and Zareki had a wild card. So unless Zango was forced to trade Zareki's wild card when he killed him, Zango almost certainly does have a set on 3. Yeah, Zango has that wild card, yep. So, does Speedster try to hit Bart at all, even with a set on 3 and the wild card? Zango is going to need, I think, a little bit of help from Speedster to take the Bart kill. But Zango might end up trying anyway. Zango sets in on 3 for 50. So does Zango go after Bart to try and get the win here? Or does Zango try to line up or somehow block the Speedster kill to prevent Bart from getting it? Because with Bart on 5 cards and already 40 troops ahead of Speedster, it almost doesn't matter what Speedster does. Bart has the Speedster kill if he wants it. So what do you do here if you're Zango? He is going to beat on Bart a little bit. We see Bart coming out with the oops. And Speedster is raising the gun in the air, cheering Zango on, though I'm sure Zango would have much preferred for Speedster to hit Bart a little bit more than he did. Of course, if Speedster had Speedster hit Bart too much, that would have just given Zango the game instead of Bart. So there is So Speedster or Bart can still get into Speedster, but Zango has closed off two pathways of entries into Speedster's Japan bonus. Bart sets in for the 55 trade. Right, does not block the kill at all. Yeah, Zango says, oops, good game, sees that the kill on Speedster is not blocked. So Bart should be able to finish the Speedster kill up and grab that set. Yeah, should not be a problem for a player like Bart. And he is going to mop up some Zango territories while he's at it, because Zango is next. GG's to Speedster. Well played to Bart, taking yet another bounty this game. Believe that's his third bounty this game, fourth bounty in the game overall. And now it's just a matter of positioning his troops such that he can finish off Zango's 90 remaining troops. We are in a 1v1, and all signs point to a Bart victory. Wow. He only lost 30 on a 44 stack. So that is GG's there. GG's to Zango, and well played to Bart, taking all but one bounty in Game 3, as well as